So I'm John Abbot. I'm the Director of Business Growth at Yoti. So I cover off all of our B2B, so our business to business or our B2G, business to government interactions. And so my role is basically to grow that side of Yoti's business in terms of the places where Yoti users can use their Yoti. Yoti is a digital identity platform globally where we can take your passports or your driver's licenses and create a digital identity based on your biometrics, so you control your own data. We take 160 countries, different passports, around 45 countries, driver's licenses, national IDs, and we combine them with border control biometrics into a Yoti, your own trusted identity. So we've currently got around 2.5 million installs globally, mostly across UK, US and India. And then through that, once they've created that identity, they can use it in different use cases. So that includes authentication, so in terms of secure login, through to verification and ID verification for financial services or otherwise, through to e-signing, so similar to other signing platforms, but this time with a secure biometric, or into where we dealt with Godel was in access, so into My Venue is a suite of products where you're using Yoti to verify people into establishments. Yoti is a growing company, has many products that are all being developed at different paces, and that's quite a juggling act in some cases. It's important for us to do it that way. We need to build a network and not be a singular product company. So My Venue is one of those, is a good example of an additional product to that ecosystem. So each of those products develop at different rates. What's important is that we are able to rapidly produce a minimum viable product to validate with businesses and governments that wanted to start using it, to get that feedback quickly. And that would help us prioritise which of those product verticals we would progress at what rate, and it's really important to do. So Yoti and subsequently My Venue have come about because the way in which people prove themselves hasn't really changed in the last sort of 30, 40 years. And that needs to change. It's a broken system where a lot of consumers have frustration or troubles in identifying themselves online or in person. Every day we hear more news around large-scale data leaks or fraudulent behaviours. We hear those, both sides into the US and UK and around the world. What that means is your data is now more and more publicly available. So Yoti is the sort of privacy champion on behalf of the consumer, where you can create a safe place to store your safest personal data and then discreetly share that with businesses and governments, or indeed other people. And so specifically for the access control for My Venue, we're trying to combat the fact that many people lose their passports or driver's licenses in venues, having taken them out, had a few too many drinks, and then end up losing them somewhere along the way. It's a big issue for police, it's a big issue for the individual, and Yoti is therefore providing a way for them to create a secure identity, leave their passports in their sock drawer, and then take their mobile phone only to the event. So the reason we chose a software development partner is threefold really. One is because it was quite a discrete area of a product. Aside from our core identity platform, it was where you could use some of that identity details. Secondly, we were growing very rapidly and running out of office space, and we had a number of individual contractors, and so it made more sense from that aspect to look to a partner to build that software. And thirdly, we needed to run things in parallel, so having them, in addition to our identity platform, build a product to a minimal viable product quickly was the obvious choice. So we used Godel specifically for two purposes and two sub-products, both relating to access to venues. So the My Venue suite has My Venue for Office and My Venue for clubs. My Venue for Clubs is access into nightclubs, bars or other licensed venues. My Venue for Offices is into either multi-tenanted venues in terms of office buildings or into singular office use for reception purposes. So that enables someone with a digital identity or an email to be able to access the My Venue suite, which is what Godel had helped build, to then, in the use case of Yoti, to nice and easily share their verified details rather than filling in a reception book, or indeed in the nightclubs example, giving their ID over to a bouncer. The aspects that we used Godel for was pretty much the full suite in the end of it. We started mostly with either the back-end application development, but includes into the Android app or the Android tablet solution for offices. And then equally, as time went on, we started to use more and more in terms of UX and UI services, in terms of just the continuity of knowledge around that product grew. So there's the mode of operation that we had, I think, worked really well. We had daily stand-ups in terms of communications and video calls that worked really well between our teams and the Godel team. So that enabled us to manage quite quickly changes in requirements, and we had a number of changes in requirements. So that is really important to be able to get that sort of speed of execution and the consistency of knowledge around a particular product. So I think the Godel team have been able to help us get a minimal viable product for the My Venue suite for both clubs and for offices out the door nice and quick, and as one of our first go-to-market products. It's really helped us validate some of the core use cases and feedback for our identity platform, which was the whole objective. I think I really liked working with the Godel team was they took a very pragmatic view to our business. We're not a business that fits easily into the sort of size and shape of other typical clients that they might have had. And so really understanding what our needs were, and they are kind of challenging needs in many cases, and working well with us in some simple communication solves a lot of things. So I think that adult approach to the challenges we were facing was really useful. To sum up Godel in 3 words, I'd say that they're reliable, they're communicative, and they produce good quality work.